Good evening, everyone. This is Lisa Culverwell. Some people call me Miss Lisa, others call me Miss Elsie, just depends on your preference. I am with Miss Elsie's Bookkeeping here in Crowley, Texas. And I don't know about y'all's weather right now, but wherever you are, but here it's been nice but chilly. So I want to remind everyone that in order to make comments and participate in the video, I need all of you to click on the three dots on the video and enable StreamYard. So I always remind everyone every video why I do this. And I'm here to help all of those that may not be able to afford a bookkeeper or a CPA, someone that would really like to do it themselves, whether it's because they can't afford it or because they just simply want to. I'm not going to tell you that, I wish bad. I'm not going to say that at all. I am here to help you. So if you're going to do it yourself for whatever the reason, I want to make sure that you have some tools to set you up for success. And just as a reminder, this is for reporting only. This is not anything advanced where you're going to go out and get a bank loan with this. This is not anything where you're going to tackle the IRS and say, see, this is what she told me to do. That's not it at all. This is specifically for reporting purposes. This is so that you know what your business is doing. I have met too many business owners that have no idea how much money they're making, especially if they are someone that deals in credit card and cash sales. Their POS system only takes credit cards. So they have no idea what the actual revenue is because it's not counting cash. They have no idea how much they're spending. They're not recording anything. What they're doing is they're going to their bank account and saying, yep, I've got money there so I can spend it. That's not good enough. We know that we need to plan. We need to have a budget. We need to know exactly what we're going to be doing a year from now. We need to know that we are going to make a profit. We need to know that we are going to survive and we're still going to be around this time next year. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this for you. This is a free service. I am looking at creating a private group on Facebook specifically for business owners that want to be a bookkeeping DIYer. That those people would have 100% access to me for questions. I may be bringing on a couple other bookkeepers, maybe some people that can help with coaching businesses or set up, things like that. We're still trying to get all the kinks out of it and try to figure it all out, but that is coming soon. So let's get into it. Of course, we always do a review. And last week we went over what is a bookkeeper, what is a CPA, what's an accountant, what's the difference? And we got to do this quickly because we don't have much time. So again, what is a CPA? A CPA is a certified public accountant. And let me share my screen. It's a certified public accountant, and they're licensed with the state. They handle complex situations like tax and accounting. Some of them handle financial planning. In Texas, they do, but not every state allows them to do financial planning because there are separate financial planners out there. They do all of the advanced stuff that we as bookkeepers don't do. Let's see here. An accountant is basically the same thing as a CPA, except they're not licensed. They're not licensed with the state. They do also handle complex and advanced situations, they might do tax. They do accounting. They do bookkeeping. But be aware, because in some states, like here in Texas, they must be a licensed CPA in order to be an accountant. There is no in between. And finally, what is a bookkeeper? A bookkeeper can become licensed. They can become a CPB, a certified public bookkeeper. We handle less complex and advanced situations. We can e-file tax preps, but we can only do e-file. We can't do anything else. We cannot do accounting. And when I say accounting, yes, bookkeeping is accounting or a form of it. It's on the accounting table. But the description that the state likes us to use is that accounting is something that a CPA does. We do bookkeeping. We do, like I said, your less complex situations. We handle all of the data entry. We present all of the financial reporting that is just for management. We don't handle, a lot of us don't handle taxes. We don't handle financial planning. We don't handle complex loan amortization. There's so many different things that we don't do. But as a bookkeeper, we do a wide range of basic bookkeeping to full charge bookkeeping. Some people, they only do accounts payable. They like paying people's bills. Other people, they like doing collections, receiving money. Other people, they just like closing out the month. And then there's other people that, like me, that do everything. We handle all of the data entry, the detail work, paper pushers, as they call them typically. And many of the CPAs actually outsource their bookkeeping to us because, of course, here in the state of Texas, they do not allow a CPA to do their own bookkeeping. It's illegal here. They must have a bookkeeper on staff and be called a firm. Excuse me. They must be a firm in order to do their bookkeeping and have a bookkeeper on staff. That bookkeeper must do the bookkeeping. So the CPA is still not doing it. As a bookkeeper, we're not allowed to do any of the accounting. So we have to outsource to them. Okay, so to the meat and potatoes. So today, this is Series 6. And we are discussing when it's good to hire a CPA. We've already discussed what a CPA does. And there are certain situations that you might find yourself in where you don't have a choice but to get a CPA. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it can be avoided and you can go for a bookkeeper. But depending on the situation, I do not recommend you tackling that yourself. You do need someone that is experienced in order to handle these sorts of situations. So we've already gone through our review. So what are some of the reasons that a CPA is needed? Well, one, you're overwhelmed. In a situation like this, if you're overwhelmed, it's probably best that you get a bookkeeper rather than a CPA, because a CPA, one, they charge a lot more money than we do. A CPA will typically charge you anywhere between $200 and $400 per hour. They do charge pretty much like an attorney. They may not charge per piece of paper. They may not charge per copy or per phone call like an attorney does, but their hourly rates are extremely high for the most part. If they do have their own bookkeeper on staff, then they can get you that bookkeeper. They can have that bookkeeper do it for you for less money than what they would charge to do it themselves. but it is still typically about $40 to $60 more per hour than what most of us charge as bookkeepers. As a standalone bookkeeper, we charge anywhere between $30 an hour all the way up to about $100 an hour, depending on experience. So you can imagine how much the bookkeepers are forced to charge if they're working for a CPA. Possible financial planning. As we discussed here in Texas, CPAs can do financial planning. It's not that way in every state. Again, companies have their own financial planners. That's what they're there for. They specialize in that. So people are typically going to go to a financial planner when they need financial planning done. Most people don't suspect that a CPA may be able to do that. You think that there are errors and you need them found and fixed. Again, this is typically more in line of a bookkeeper. Someone like myself, I do cleanup for a living. So cleanup requires me to do very detailed assessments and going through everything with a fine-tooth comb and looking for errors, actually nitpicking my way through. If I see anything that might be 1 penny off, or if I see a reconciliation that's off, or a number that just doesn't look right in a category. In other words, if your cost of goods sold is being charged to an expense, then I look at that and go, okay, we've got a problem. You've been audited and you don't understand why. This is when it's good to go to a CPA. You can go to us first for us to assess and kind of get a feel for what might be standing out to us. If we see something, then chances are, if you've been audited, we'll be able to find something. But it could possibly be that you had a tax preparer that maybe they were brand new, or they just didn't know what they were doing, may have given you credits that you weren't due. They may have given you deductions, or allowed you to write off certain things that you shouldn't have written off. For instance, maybe you had a vehicle that your business did not own. So instead of taking the mileage or taking the actual expenses, you took both, or the tax preparer gave you both. That right there will definitely get you audited. So there are so many different reasons why we as bookkeepers can only do so much if you're audited. We can look again, but it may be difficult for us to determine exactly the reason why you were audited. But a CPA, they'll be able to look at everything and go, yep, I know exactly why. Banks won't give you a loan and you don't know why. Well, again, bring it to a bookkeeper, we'll be able to see it. A CPA, they'll be able to look at it and go, oh, yep, this is the problem. And I do not have a title over that. Basically, this one right here is you have gotten too big. You have grown exponentially so fast. And it's gotten too big for you. You need to bring in a CPA so that they can help you. They may only have to help you once a year. Get your taxes done. They're going to handle all of your year-end and beginning year journal entries, so that you can give that to a bookkeeper and they can enter those for you. Typically, when you grow that quickly, you suddenly find yourself without any time. you either have time to sell or you have time to do the bookkeeping. You don't typically have time to do both. So one of those things has to go in order for you to be able to grow your business. And if you've been able to grow throughout doing both, then I applaud you. Not only do I applaud you, yeah. we you're going to get very, very busy. So finally, if you have investments and your books are too advanced, I do not recommend you do your bookkeeping if your books are too advanced. I have worked with nonprofits where they had anywhere between 7 and 15 investments, and that didn't include a half a dozen bank accounts. So sometimes things are just too big. They're too complicated. There are journal entries, and I never, ever, ever recommend that you do journal entries. You want to leave that to the professionals because journal entries can harm your books. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to pay Uncle Sam a lot of money. Yeah, we're always trying to pay Uncle Sam as little as possible. That's part of the reason why I'm having all of this. If you don't know what you're doing, then these are some tips in order to help you get through all of this. We all started off this way. So we all started off not knowing what we were doing. I certainly didn't know that I would own a business 20 years after, or 18 years really after starting my career back in 2000. And I gotta say, it can be a stressful thing. As business owners, we know and we feel like that we have to do everything ourselves. And it's to save money. And that's what it is. It's to save money. We don't want to or can't go out and spend a ton of money on advertising, on marketing, on bookkeeping, on tax preparers, on CPAs, you name it. We can't afford it as small business owners that are just starting out. And so we have to figure it out ourselves. And if you're one of the lucky ones that can actually afford a bookkeeper, then I congratulate you, because that's one less thing that you have to worry about. At least you know that your books are being done, hopefully are being done correctly. I'm not going to say every bookkeeper out there is perfect. We've got good ones, we've got bad ones, just like CPAs, just like everybody else. I always say interview. Make sure that you interview everybody, especially your bookkeepers. Interview your bookkeepers, because you need to know that they know what they're doing and how to handle your unique situation, because every situation is unique. You're the only one that's going through what you're going through. No one else has lived or walked in your shoes. And you're the only one that can explain it to someone, because you've lived it. Whether you had an employee that made a mess of things and you want to pull out your hair and you want to cry, you want to scream, whatever, you know what you had to go through. And someone, myself, for instance, I'm here for those people. And I'm here to listen, and I'm here to ensure them that things are going to get better, and I'm going to help them. It may not give them a better result. They may be as bad off as they think they are. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say that those cases don't exist, because they do. But usually it turns out differently. Usually things were just put all in the wrong places, and once everything was put in correctly and we know exactly how much money was made and spent, then usually they come out much further ahead than they expected. So that's a good thing. But I feel for the people that unfortunately have to live through the moment of me or someone else saying, I'm sorry, but things are bad or worse than what you expected. This happened and that happened, and these are the things that I found. And it's those people that come into my office sometimes just in absolute tears. My cat's going crazy. The people that are in absolute tears and just crying and screaming because they're just so angry, and others that are either embarrassed or angry at themselves because they allowed something to happen, or because they did think that they were trying to save money, and next thing you knew, they were doing everything wrong. And that's why I'm doing this, because I don't want you to be that person. I don't want you to be that person that's going to come to me and be angry at yourself because you thought you were doing everything right, and yet you don't know what you're doing. It's, as far as your profit, you don't know what you're making, or you were still audited, or whatever. So I just don't want you to be that person. I want you to be able to come to me whenever you need help, whenever you need advice, bookkeeping advice, whenever you need answers. I want you to not feel embarrassed to ask particular questions about bookkeeping, and not feel like they're stupid questions, because there's no such thing as a stupid question. So nobody's nobody's looking down on anybody. But I am here for all of you, and I just want you to know that. So we will not be having a video next week because of Thanksgiving. It's different this year, isn't it? Some people can't get together at all. Others, it's just mind-boggling, to say the least. So whatever your situation is, wherever you're located, I just pray that you're able to spend time with family, and that you can enjoy it, and in the midst of everything that's happening, and try to take your mind off of everything bad, and try to take your mind off of business this week. So unless, of course, you're a retail or something like that relies on Black Friday, then you can think about it. So, but we're going to cut the video a little bit short this week. And I just wanted to reiterate that I am here for you for any questions that you might have about your bookkeeping. And we will get back together in 2 weeks. And it's going to be a little bit choppy of the rest of the year just because of the holidays. So There will be a couple of weeks where there won't be any videos at all. So all of my videos are placed on YouTube on my channel. If you wish to look up those videos, you can look up Miss Elsie's Bookkeeping. You can look it up under my name, Lisa Culverwell. It's Culverwell. Or you can message me and I can send you a link to my channel. And of course, we also have it logged on here on Facebook. So I wish all of you a happy and stuffing-filled Thanksgiving. Hope that you're able to spend it with your families, and know that I'm all with you in spirit and in prayer. So I will see you in a couple of weeks. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful rest of your week. Good night.